Hola y buenos días. Soy yo, el señor Morris. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Are you still practicing your Spanish? I hope so. Did you play los juegos de cartas from our last lesson? That's a good way to kind of go over the things. Today we're going to go over what we did in our last lesson, introduce some new things for you to practice. We're going to review the family members, and we're going to do an alphabet activity. But I tell you what, let's go ahead and get started with our canción de saludos. Canten conmigo. Hola, hola, buenos días, bienvenidos, ¿cómo están? Todos juntos ya estamos listos para aprender. Muy bien cantado. We have a lot to do today, so let's go ahead and get started with our alphabet. Now, I'd like all of you to pay attention. Make sure you have something to write on and something to write with ready so that we can do a spelling activity after this video. Ahora, presten atención y repitan todos.
A. América. B. Biblioteca. C. Ciudad. Che. Chico. D. Dos. E. Escuela. F. Familia. G. Gobierno. H. Hospital. I. Iberia. J. Juego. K. Kilo. L. Libro. Y. Llama. M. México. N. 9. Ñ. Ñoclo. O. Oficina. P. Policía. Q. 15. R. Restaurante. R. Correos. S. 7. T. Tío. U. 1. B. 20. W. Washington. X. Xilófono. Y. Yo. Z. Zoológico.
Muy bien. Now, I hope that you remembered all of those letters because we're going to do a spelling activity right now. Go ahead and get papel y algo para escribir. Could be a lápiz or pluma. And write down these letters as I tell them to you. ¿Listos? B. B. A. A. N. N. C. C. O. O. Check to see that you've got them all. B. A. N. C. O. Did you get all those? Did you write out the word banco? B. A. N. C-O. Banco. Did you get that right? Raise your hands if you got that right. Let your teachers know. Good deal. Well, that leads us right into a review of what we've been talking about in this unit. Let's go ahead and start by talking about the places that you might live. If I ask you, ¿dónde vives? You might live in this place. Now, you do whatever you do in your classroom to tell your teacher that you know the answer if you just say it or if you raise your hand. But tell your teacher before I count to 3, because I'm going to show you the answer. 1, 2, 3, una ciudad. Una ciudad. How about this one? Raise your hand. Tell your teacher. 1, 2, 3. Un pueblo. Un pueblo. How about this one? Way out in the countryside. 1, 2, 3. El campo. El campo. And then we start talking about places that are community services in your community. And the first one we talked about here, big red cross on the front, looks like somebody in a smock. This is almost the same in English and Spanish, so this should be easy. 1, 2, 3. El hospital. El hospital. And just like hermano and hija, we don't pronounce the H. How about this one? Policía. Now this is kind of a long one. If you've got it written down in your notes, that'll probably help. 1, 2, 3. La jefatura de policía. La jefatura de policía. How about this one? They have the correos. It's an office. 1, 2, 3. La oficina de correos. La oficina de correos. How about this place? It's a big station. It's got this guy in his slicker, black and white dog. Do you remember what he's called? 1, 2, 3. La estación de bomberos. La estación de bomberos. Then we looked at this one. We said this is a department, and this department is to keep things sanitary. 1, 2, 3. El departamento de sanidad. El departamento de sanidad. And this next one, this is easy. Look at it, it says right up there, and it's the same thing that we talked about in Unit 1. 1, 2, 3. El banco. El banco. Yeah, I bet you got that. Then we talked about these, and these are places where you go in and negotiate to buy something. 1, 2, 3. Los negocios. Los negocios. This place. You're probably sitting in one of these right now. We also talked about this in Unit 1. 1, 2, 3. La escuela. And here we got it. La escuela. And finally, we talked about this one. This is a place where you can go and borrow books, and you have to take them back. You can read magazines and newspapers. It's a mouthful. 1, 2, 3. La biblioteca. La biblioteca. All right, very good. You guys are doing a good job of remembering those things. And I'd like you to keep going over them. But right now, I'd like to show you a couple of new sentences. And I want you to see if you can figure out what I'm talking about by using the context of what is around me. Okay? Here's my guitar, la guitarra. Okay, presten atención. La guitarra está cerca. La guitarra está cerca. You got that? Now, la guitarra está lejos. La guitarra está lejos. Now, do you think you figured it out? Without telling me, raise your hand if you think that you know what I'm saying. Okay, some of you may know. Let me see. I'm just question. You see this block? You see the block? This block. ¿Está cerca o está lejos? Tell your teacher. ¿Está cerca o está lejos? You got it right if you told your teacher, está cerca. Está cerca. Let's try another one. You see the table over there? Is the table. ¿Está cerca o está lejos? The table. ¿Está cerca o está lejos? Tell your teacher the answer right now. You got it right if you told your teacher, está lejos. Está lejos. Okay. I bet that a lot of you have already figured out what I'm talking about now. I'm really proud of you to use that context to figure things out. Está cerca means that something is close. It's close to me. Está lejos means that it's far from me. Está lejos means it's far. Okay, now we hope you get those down in your notebooks. Jot those down. And we're going to go over those again when we start looking at our activity sheets. But tell you what, let's go ahead and before we do that, go over the family members again that we talked about during Unit 1. Let's see how many of you remember those family members. Well, I tell you what, let's start off by talking about this man up here, Pedro. What is his relationship to Marta y Esteban? Do you remember? 1, 2, 3. Es el padre o el papá. El padre o el papá. All right, very good. Let's try another one. How about Luz? What is her relationship to Marta y Esteban? You think you know? Raise your hand, tell your teacher. 1, 2, 3. Es la madre o la mamá de Marta y Esteban. Okay, hopefully you still remember all of these. Well, let's look at another one now. What about Marta? What is her relationship to Esteban? What is her relationship? 1, 2, 3. Es la hermana de Esteban. Marta es la hermana de Esteban. Okay, doing pretty good. And now that you know that one, I bet this is going to be really easy. Esteban, what is his relationship to Marta? 1, 2, 3. Es el hermano de Marta. El hermano. Very good. Well, let's look at this then. We said Marta es la hermana de Esteban. What is her relationship, though, to Luz and to Pedro? What is her relationship? 1, 2, 3. La hija. Marta es la hija de Luz y Pedro. Okay, now that you know that one, how about Esteban and his relationship to Pedro and Luz? 1, 2, 3. Es el hijo de Pedro y Luz. Esteban es el hijo. Okay, well, those were all pretty easy. Do you remember this one, though? How about Don Luis? Don Luis, what is his relationship to Marta y Esteban all the way down here? Don Luis, do you remember? 1, 2, 3. Es el abuelo de Marta y Esteban. Es el abuelo. Okay, and now that you know that one, Carmen and her relationship to Marta y Esteban, that should be really easy for you. 1, 2, 3. Es la abuela. La abuela de Marta y Esteban. Okay, how about Miguel here? What is his relationship to Marta y Esteban? You remember that? It's a short one. 1, 2, 3. El tío. Miguel es el tío de Marta y Esteban. Yeah, now that you know that, this next one's going to be really easy. Susana. What is Susana's relationship to Marta y Esteban? Es 1, 2, 3. La tía. Es la tía de Marta y Esteban. Okay, now we have a couple more down here. We have David. What is his relationship over here to Esteban y Marta? You remember? 1, 2, 3. El primo de Marta y Esteban. And once you know that, oh, you're all going to be able to get this one pretty easily. What is Rosa's relationship to Esteban y Marta? 1, 2, 3. La prima de Marta y Esteban. La prima. You guys are doing a great job. Ahora vamos a repasar con las hojas de actividades. We have 2. La primera se llama ¿está cerca o lejos? And that's what we were talking about first today. Let's look at that activity sheet now. Oh, here it is. It's got a map on it. And it looks like that. Go ahead and write your name up at the top. Roberto. And it says, look at the community map. Answer the questions by writing either ¿está cerca o está lejos? The first sentence down here. Let's see. El hospital está cerca o está lejos o lejos de mi casa. Let's look at the map here. Yo vivo aquí. Y el hospital, over here. ¿Está cerca o lejos de mi casa? Well, this is a map, so I'm going to have to say, está, don't forget your accent mark, está lejos de mi casa. Está lejos de mi casa. El banco está cerca o lejos de mi casa. Yo vivo aquí. Aquí está el banco. Well, that one looks like está cerca de mi casa. Well, tell you what, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and finish that one up on your own when your teacher gives you some time. Y la otra hoja de actividades se llama La Familia de David. And this one should look real familiar to you because it's like the activity sheets that we did in Unit 1. Go ahead and put your name up at the top and use the key to identify the members of David's family. So we're going to talk about everyone in relationship to David. Okay, down here is the key. Find all of your answers. For example, this man here, what is his relationship? Here you go. Es el papá de David. And I'm going to mark through them because I know I've used it. Go ahead and see if you can finish filling all of those out. Think about the names of the letters in Spanish as you're writing those down. Next class, we'll begin to look at the people who work in the community doing the services that we've already learned about. Pero ahora tenemos que despedirnos. Hoy vamos a cantar la canción Cielito Lindo. Canten conmigo. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, vienen bajando. Un par de ojitos negros, cielito lindo de contrabando. Everybody now. Ay, 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 ay. Canta y no llores, porque cantando se alegran, cielito lindo, los corazones. Good job. Until next time, adiós y hasta luego.